Right. So they think they're coming for allergies, hot shoulders. Wait, say that
Hot
again.
flashes or
Hot,
shoulder
hot,
pain, right?
hot shoulders, hot shoulders, or allergies. Yeah. So it's this moment when you're doing the whole, hi, my name is Jennifer, right? So I'm asking you, like, okay, so if you put your hand out and what comes next is what you're asking. What's that thing you're going to say? She's still pointing me back to that, but I think the thing is, it's this. It's if you are, okay, can I be honest with you?
Yeah. Yeah, do it.
One of the things I think that you maybe haven't really embraced is how do you know when they get on your table what they need?
Well, I mean, I've done some energy training too. So sometimes I also get kind of a flash of knowing. And sometimes, I can answer their questions as I'm asking it. So of course there's the 4 years of medical training that we got in acupuncture school, and the tip of their tongue is red, so they have
Right,
fire.
right.
But then there's also, oh, it's about their job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. And then, but I also think that, yeah. So sometimes I just know. Yeah, I think there is
Right. Yeah.
um,
So she's saying, like, I think that the answer to people may be different. So if you stay present to you when you walk up to say hello to someone, trust that you're going to give them the right answer.
okay.
Right? So it becomes how you guide yourself into those conversations, because ultimately you can say to someone, so what she's showing, this is beautiful. What she's showing me is, like, as you walk up and approach a person, tap in first so that you're present, right? And then when you go to introduce yourself, trust which of those is the most important thing to say to that person, right? And a part of that will be, like, it's not necessarily that you're going to say that that's the only thing you do, but it may be the leading thing for you with them. So it's kind of hard without using an example. So I'm going to try and use an example, which may be horrible. So just trust that it could be way off base. But let's say you walk into this room tomorrow and you spend time before you go in to just really say, look, I'm going to trust, just for this one time, I'm going to trust that whatever I need to say, whomever I need to connect with, is going to appear to me, right? So then I'm in this conversation in a place that says, I'm opening up to possibility of meeting the right people. And when you do, listen enough to say, it's almost like listening first. So if you hear, like, you ask them about themselves first, of course, you're going to hear in what they're saying what they need to hear from you. Does that make sense?
Okay.
It's kind of like a call and response piece where if you allow them to talk first and you stay connected, whichever version of that funnel they need to hear from or about will become clear.
Okay.
So if I say to you, for example, oh, hi, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm a working mom. I'm a realtor. I, skydive on the weekends. And you could just ask a couple more questions, and I'm sure, well, what would you ask me? To see if I was possibly somebody that you could help.
I'd say, wow, that's a lot to balance. How are you doing?
Right. Well, I don't know. Some days it's really hard. I get really stressed out. I feel like, and I'm guessing if it has anything to do with shoulders, you're going to notice right away. My shoulders are up to my ears, right? So that might be something you notice. Or I say, it's really great, but right now I just feel like I can't even breathe. And when I'm feeling frustrated and my body's out of whack, I just can't even focus, and I feel so sloggy and foggy brain, XYZ.
Okay, but Leah, so
Yeah.
I, I think when I'm one-on-one, I can do that. But so, I'm trying to plan workshops. Like, so I've been rotating neck and shoulder, then anxiety, then hormones, and then
Uh-huh. And how is that working?
I don't know.
Well, so what makes you think it's wrong to do that?
Oh, well, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And so I kind of think, oh, I should, let's move on to something new. But then I missed my shoulders, so I bring them back. And yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
So
business part is, once you're on the
right.
table, it's okay, game on. But it's the public persona. What's your tagline? That's the hard part for me.
Right. I think though, if you consider, and like we're saying before, if you consider that, yeah. So if you consider that your tagline is that you are providing that hope and healing,
Hope and healing.
right? And I don't know about anybody else, you are smiling from ear to ear when you talk about hope and healing. So I mean, I think that you can tell people that you're focusing on their unique version of that. Like, for everybody, there is hope and healing. That's what you're providing, right? and providing hope and healing for, and you could probably still, if you look at the common denominator from the other side, from the physical side, what are the common, is it tension? Is it hormonal? Is it, what is the most common? I know there's probably some outliers, but what are the most common for you that you're
Forward shoulder
balancing?
is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Has that. And most people are not eating, sleeping, digesting well.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks like metabolic disorder, like they're not moving things, they're a little overweight, or they're not, blood pressure, diabetes kind of things.
Mm-hmm. And so that plays out for them, though, kind of from a global perspective. And in what would you call that? Like, for example, when Jeff was talking about earlier, it's like, there's health, like the general health niche, if you will. So there's optimal health, which then gives you the opportunity to kind of use a really broad umbrella of what that looks like. So if you were to say hope and optimal health, hope and healing, or something in regards to balancing, because it sounds like that's another piece of it, or balanced health. How does that feel?
So
Yeah.
I think, acupuncturists love balance. We're all about balance, but it doesn't seem like the public wants to buy balance.
So that's good. So when you do have patients come in, what are they buying from you?
They want hope from that they can get sleep or calm or out of pain or movement.
Mm-hmm. And pain and movement probably go together pretty good, right? Because if you have pain, you're less mobile. Vice. Yeah. So hope, healing, and movement,
Hope, healing, and movement.
right? So if you are the person who provides hope, healing, and movement, or freedom of movement, right? Is it freedom of ease, freedom? It feels like, here's what I'll say about that. Because she's saying your need to make this fit into a structure has become your distraction.
Oh, she's right.
And if you are a person who flows, then honoring the fact that you may need to have a rotation of workshops that all bring those same things is going to be less of a stress on you and your own inner balance than trying to reel these pieces back into a box.
Oh, I like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So it's like, as we're doing this, she's like, I love this because, like I say, you know, the Oracle is always on her own for this stuff. And she's like, why are we, like, this is silly. Like, this isn't helpful to you for you. And
so what does she think is helpful?
Yeah. So, well, it's just that. It's honoring the fact that for you, these are the 3 areas where you have the most alignment. And I think it's more like saying, like, if you could look at those and kind of come up with the idea that you offer hope and healing, and these are the areas that you focus on, right? Okay. So it's like, it's a little bit of putting the cart before the horse. And I think what you've been trying to do is make all of these horses fit in one little box, you know, one stall. It's like, no, they're going to be, those are just going to be the drivers where you actually get to do the work. Yeah. And lean into that. Trust that that's good enough. Like, it doesn't have to be different than that for you. For you, because for you, that you would miss out on some of the pieces if you didn't get to do those. Right? Yeah. Okay. Does that, I know we kind of went left and then we came back, but she'll do that to me when I'm going too far afield because I'm not the boss of her. So, so I want to just make sure that we got to a place where you get that final knowing from her what she was trying to say.
No, that's great. I have many more.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your patience, everyone. This is a very good example of why, for me, working with the Oracle is always a surprise, and I never know where she's taking us except to trust that it's the right place for you. Like, I don't have to make it make sense. And ultimately, a goal here is really to give you something that gives you balance and gives you alignment with who you are. While we were talking, there was the shoulds coming in, and that's when I suddenly realized, like, oh, we're going into should land, which means we're kind of off base. When we are all, and this is for everybody, and I love when this happens, when we as human beings are distracted to the point where we're not moving forward, it's a really good indication that we're off balance and out of alignment. And so when we can get back to alignment, we can ask ourselves, like, if I didn't do what I should do, what would I do? And I think that for you, it's like, you know, acknowledging, you talk about hope, you talk about healing, you glow. Well, why would we want you not to glow? Right? So the more that you dig into that and then say, and I offer these there are still specific, by the way, 3 different, you know, avenues for that healing. That's not, you know, yeah. And I think they all come back to hope and healing and movement. So you got it. All right. You're welcome. Thank you so much for your patience and for sticking with me there and the Oracle as she took us on a little bit of a journey. All right. So thank you very much, Jennifer. And our next guest, before we get to our next guest, I want to let everyone know that we are going to be posting this video live later, but just to know that if you do have a question and we have time at the end here, and you're in this room, you can feel free to type it in the chat log. So if you type it in the chat log and you're here, I'll go ahead and answer that for you. And if you type it into the comments on the Facebook page, I will follow up and try to answer as many of those as possible in the next 24 hours. And last, of course, as I mentioned before, if you are watching this on a replay in Facebook and you say, I want to be like Jennifer, I want that kind of advice, I want to go on that journey, then please feel free to jump over to oraclelivetv.com and register to be a guest. We have openings even I think at this point at the end of the month, but we'll have our show every Wednesday. Obviously, Facebook, rain or shine. So do sign up and register to be a guest, and we'll follow up with you. My assistant will follow up with you about the available dates. Again, it's oraclelivetv.com, and you can always visit my webpage, which is oracleonpurpose.com, to find out more about how you could work with me. All right, our next guest is Miss Kalina Letic. Okay, Missy, here we go. We're going to unmute her. And
I love how you address me. Okay, Missy.
Okay, Missy. I knew when I saw you were going to be a guest tonight that we're going to have some fun. I love working with Galena. We've talked before, so everybody can know that. But I am curious to know like what you're up to right now and what your focus is with your work. And then, yeah, we'll find out what kind of question you have for us. Go ahead, let us know what you're up to.
Well, thanks. It is always a blast with you, Leah. I think last time I saw Leah, guys, in person, we were in the south of France and had an amazing adventure. So, gosh, I'm just so honored to be here. And Leah, you know that I look up to you like a big sister. So I'm just really thrilled. And you always give me really straight advice and throw in a Missy here and there. It's like, all right, Missy, this is what you need to do. I love it. It's so straight shooting and it's exactly what I need. So that's really exciting to get us started. But what am I working on? Right now, I'm joining you from sunny Aruba. I actually have a bit of a burn right now, but
wow.
Yeah, I'm joining you from Aruba today. But the start of this year was really rough. I got in a car accident. I had a really severe concussion. I got dumped the very next day, and it was like, okay, everything just is clearly shifting and recalibrating, and there's a lot to learn here, and I'm just I slowed down a lot. But what am I working on right now? What I'm working on is my book, so the Success Trifecta. I've got about 27 publishers interested, so just negotiating a book deal there, and really helping women love the work they do is what I share. Like Jen's comment earlier, it's like, okay, what's my tagline? What's my thing? But I think this ties in really nicely. I'm already ready to just jump in. Is that bad? I just
It's not bad. You know it's not bad. No, yeah, go for it.
I mean, gosh, yeah. Pretty much I help women start businesses, have their first 10K month, rock it. But really the basis is this whole idea of empowerment and being able to ask for what they want at work. But I've been very clearly guided to knowing that I want to work in relationships now. So that's actually something I'm very clear on, and it's this big like dun 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 crazy niche switch. But maybe not really. So what I'm here to chat with you on is just a little bit about, I think, what Jen mentioned, although I know, how do I put this? I know it's got to be about relationships. I know it's about being able to express yourself in relationships, because it's always come easily to me with work stuff. But my bigger hurdles have been with romance. And so because I've kind of been overcoming these hurdles, I'm noticing that since I was very little, my parents got divorced when I was 4. That as like this key kind of childhood incident, I've noticed has really shaped everything for me. So I'm just super clear on the fact that it's relationships. What I'm looking for guidance on is just like a little bit of like a check mark. Yes, you're in the right direction, because it already feels I feel good even telling you about this now. It's like, but just, is it only women? Is it couples? I'm doing couples coaching right now for people with PTSD, couples with one or both of PTSD from military service. And the relationship stuff just lights me up. When we were in California at that event over some lemon cake, all we talked about was relationship. So it's like, I've always just been enthralled. And what I really want to know is, okay, if I'm going to go all in on relationship, keep Kickstart and help people, but I'm contracting on coaches. So that's the side piece there, is I'll have a team of, I'm working to about 25. So that's what I'm working on right now. Actually, if we go back there, I'm working on contracting 25 coaches to help with Kickstart so that I can do relationship stuff.
Got it.
Leah, who are those people? And what's that about? Like who are the people that are meant for that? Is it couples or women or men, I guess?
I get a bigger hit on couples than men or women alone. And I want to just back up really quickly because I have a question about Kickstart. So Kickstart is a company you're starting and having contractors work as coaches under you.
Kickstart Your Work is my company that I've been doing all the coaching for now. So like the retreat I ran in Chiang Mai in November and all the individual and group stuff I do is all under Kickstart Your Work, but I've been the face of it. Like it's just been kind of me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's.
But Kickstart Your Work is your business.
Right.
Yes. Got it. Okay. And so it feels like there are 3 questions here, so that's why I just want to clarify. So that
Okay.
I know. Well, no, it's okay, and I'm getting multiple answers, so I'm just trying to clear. I'm like here, like okay. So as everybody's watching this, like what's happening? So when the oracle gives me information, it comes 3 ways. It comes in like a direct question or comment. It comes in a physical reaction, like the body flush I told Jeff I got earlier. And the last, and typically actually the most clarifying, is the visuals I get. So I'm getting these 3 balls of visuals. So it's like, okay, well, what? And then every time you talked, they were moving around. So it's like, okay, well, we have time to look at them, and I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right orb here in front of me. So what I pulled from that, and what she's tracking on, is the kickstart your business. Wait.
Work. Kickstart your work.
Kickstart your work, and then the couples coaching, and there's a third thing, and I think that's why that was confusing me. Your book is about kickstart your work, though, correct? Or is that more?
No,
Okay.
It's more on the work side of things, and definitely, if you purchased it, I promise I'm finishing it. I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I'm still very committed to people loving the work they do, but for me, the underlying, how Jen talked about having this underlying, for me, that underlying is enjoy the way you spend your time. For me, it's about time. And so I started with careers. I started in careers because we spend a hell of a lot of time working. So I thought,
Sure.
okay, this makes sense logically.
Yeah. So what I will say is the way that things are showing up for me, that the book, which makes sense in what you just said as well, is definitely a lower vibration color-wise, so it's very muted. And what's interesting is these 2, so the Kickstart Your Work and the couples relationship coaching, are similarly spaced and equally vibrant, which means there's an option for you to choose, or if you were to look at, it's interesting, it's almost as if you were to take the one side of that and use it as a base to propel your business forward and pull out. I'm not like, what is she doing? Okay, so I see what you're saying. So if you take Kickstart Your Work and get it to a place where it's self-sustaining, which makes sense in light of you having contractors, then you can focus on career stuff, or sorry, the relationship stuff. But until you do, they're going to be pulling you apart. Like that, energetically, you're split between the 2. Yes. So pulling that, it's almost like I keep wanting to say you should let one go, and that's not what she's saying. What she's saying is get that settled, bring it into a managed pace where you have low touch to it, and then prepare to move into the direction. Now, also because the relationship stuff is here, which means it's moving towards the future. So for me, this is current, 3-6 months, this is past, this is future, and it's here moving towards the future. So it means what's current and up for you and active is Kickstart Your Work. Once it's settled, and that's where she was like, it's literally just coming down and just like moving along, it's going to be a baseline, and the other is going to be there for you. It's interesting because I at first said the relationship stuff and the couple stuff, and now she's pulling back from that in a way. It's I don't know how it's more than that, in that it's like, oh, okay. So she's saying like couples retreats.
You know what's so?
So it is couples, but it's like
I do want to say like the Kickstarter stuff. That's exactly what I'm doing. Like next 6 months are totally Kickstart. I'm where my head is not what I'm iterating on. Like what I'm asking you is totally that. So who am I serving in the relationship stuff? But I'm with you, like, yes to what you said on Kickstart. That's totally where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to hone in on who the heck are these people in these relationships, because the irony is, Leah, like I told you, I just got dumped. I'm single. I'm not married. Who am I to coach these people in relationships? Yet I'm already doing it with these couples that are in the military service. I love it. I regularly go overtime. I get paid less for those sessions than this other sessions I do, like half. But I could do that all day.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's, there can be a business. I think to miss the track there, like, I think that's just a fallacy. That's just my own personal opinion, by the way. This is just me talking, but it's a fallacy to think that you have to do something to be able to help somebody with it as a coach. Like, because it's behavior, it's patterns, it's the things that, communication, it doesn't mean that you have to have been in a relationship or have a relationship that's X. It means that you understand how to communicate and you are able to help two humans communicate, right? So,
you know what? Yeah, that I think that was my main question. Sorry, if it's
so it's like, it's perfect, because I think that she's just saying, like, you have to just take that hat off. Like, that's just, it doesn't matter. And if anything, you putting it in front of you is what's stopping you, right? Because it's like, just do your work. If you are already doing the work and you, like you said yourself, you're already feeling like you could just really get in there and help people, then go help people. Stop using that as an excuse. Yeah. They're there. And really, like, as far as like who, like I said, she was just showing me, like, I'm like, it's couples, but it's different. It's like, I'm like, oh, because they're going away. It's these retreats where they're having, it's the idea that it's like a 3-day weekend or a week or whatever, where they're really having the time to go deep into the work. How does that?
Yeah. I just totally. It's just weird that it's couples. Like, I still have to wrap my head, but that's a great confirmation, because I was sitting there going, okay, is it men? Is it women? What am I, like, why, should it be women? Because that's what I just was swirling in who. That was the thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I definitely see it continually stay in couples. So it's couples, which, I think makes sense for you, Queenie. You have a really great rapport with men, so why not take advantage of that? So if you're asking why you, because you have a great rapport with men. So why not you? Couples, oftentimes that's a good point. Like, couples who need help, the man is typically more reluctant to come in. So if you have a good rapport with men, that's going to make you more successful at that.
This is all just fascinating. I appreciate the confirmation and the new insights. Leah, you are, watch out.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming. And I'm excited to hear how Kickstart moves forward and this builds for you. Any last question? There's another question. Sounds like you have another question. What is that?
It's, I think it's less businessy. I think I'm just a little bit, I know it's coming, but I kind of just want to know it's coming. I feel like I'm back in France and you're just going to give me the eye.
I know, right?
Leah has the eye, guys.
So, I can hear your question, but for the audience, for those who are watching, why don't you share your question really quickly?
She has a look, guys, and you can't get away from it. It's like the Leah look. It's you could patent it. The question is, when will I meet the guy? Or maybe not, like, I don't need a date. Will I meet the guy? I know I'll meet the guy. What are the words for that, Leah? Because I know it's like, what, is it coming? Yeah, I know it's coming. So I don't think I have a question, but I know there's a question.
Yeah. So if I might help you out, the question I'm hearing, how's that? The question I'm hearing is, this is how I'm hearing it. And I think that there's the answer to it, which is, there's a piece of you that says, are you ever going to meet the guy? And the answer of the question is absolutely. And stop calling him the guy. So let it go and stop formulate, there's this sense of putting someone on a pedestal before they've even shown up. So there's that,
Ooh.
the white knighty, whatever that, I mean, I'm not saying that's what you're at, but there's that aura around this that it's like you need to let that go so that you can find so that you can recognize without judgment when it happens. So the question, that's what question I was hearing, and the answer to that was that. So I would just say that it's the word "the" when you say it, it's like a big, huge fortress of, like, this guy's got to go through sharks and, yeah, that's just everything to get through that one word. So just let it
go. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing the question that I could see. Those are always great. And just so everybody knows, when I get somebody who has a question like that around me, it's like having a gnat. Like, I can hear it, and it's just like, might as well just ask the question when you have the chance. So thank you very much for joining us and sharing your questions. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jennifer. I do see that we had someone, but they've pulled off for now, so I don't see any more questions. I do want to stop now for a moment, and I'm actually going to bring Jeff back on for a minute, because it looks like we might have missed recording that when we were playing with our recording button earlier. So I want to make sure we get a chance to bring Jeff back on for a minute. And just, Jeff, I want you to go ahead and share what you do a little bit before we finish. And that way we make sure that we've given you the chance to get your message out. Is that okay with you, Jeff? Awesome. All right. Thank you, Kalina. All right. We're going to mute. Oh, we're not going to. You muted yourself. Good job. All righty. I'm going to unmute Jeff. Hey. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and come back on and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do before we finish off for the night. Thank you.
Okay, great. So I'm very excited to be here, of course. This is awesome. It's been an amazing experience so far, and I can't wait to see what we do next. So my name is Jeff Bell. I am 68 years young, and I have been passionate about human health and solving human health problems literally since I was 3 years old. And that's literally true. My dad went through medical school, and I grew up studying all of his human tissue slides and his notes and everything. I've been deeply involved in that. For the last 41 years, I have been focused on helping adults diagnosed with cancer to overcome it without chemotherapy and without radiation, and using some leading edge new methods and some methods that go back thousands of years. And I integrate them to work with the whole person. So I work on the emotional level, the spiritual level. I work on the immune system, the biological, the digestive, everything. I basically leave no stone unturned. And I have an amazing track record. I've helped thousands of people to overcome cancer, to avoid the chemotherapy and the radiation and all the terrible journey that represents, and to get back to being healthy and living for, a normal lifespan. And that's my mission. And I feel absolutely blessed because I knew what my mission was, and I actually knew it would be about cancer when I was 5.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, thank you. And that's why everybody, now that you've watched that, knows exactly why I wanted to bring you back on and make sure that we had that on tape all the way through, because I think earlier we were doing a little setup here, and I think we might have hit the wrong button. I might have hit the wrong button, to be fair. And so I want to make sure that we have that up there for everybody to hear about. And if you're curious to know more about Jeff, we will go ahead and include a link in the comment section. He is also on our website, so if you go to oraclelivetv.com and check our schedule, you'll see his name and a link to your site, Jeff, there as well. So please, everyone, thank you so much, all of our guests, for being here tonight, for sharing not only the amazing things that you're doing and the way you're changing the world, but being vulnerable and open to share your questions, because I think it's important for people to know that no matter where you are in your journey, everybody can sometimes get stuck, and we could all use a little support and a little help. And that's the whole goal for me, for the Oracle, really, is to open up and share that knowledge so that each of you can move forward in your most aligned way and to find your unique life purpose so that you can live it, bring it to the world, because the universe created you to be you. And that's why you're here. And I'm here to help make sure that anything that's in your way of doing that is alleviated so that you can move forward and shine and radiate and have the powerful impact you're meant to have on the world. So please, if you want to, you can join us again next week on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Here, hopefully, again, live next time on Facebook. But if not, we'll make sure we get out there to you. So oraclelivetv.com. I'm Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. I thank you all so much for being here. Every one of you has brought me some joy and excitement to be able to share your visions of what you're doing. And I hope that you've received, at least a little step forward in your journey. And again, please come back. Join us next week. If you know of anybody who'd like to join us as well, make sure they join us and register to be a guest on the show, or show up to be in the audience, because next time when we're live on Facebook, we'll take those studio audience questions at the end as well. Thank you again. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Kaylina. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
All right.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to stop the recording.